Hi everybody, this is the non-science part of the conference, so I apologize for any offense I might create. Quick, what we are doing is not working. This is our observation we've made over the last 20 years in the Matut area, and I'll show you where we are. What we're trying to develop as an alternative, our expected results, and some final thoughts and requests from the scientific community. Prof. van Wilgen, thank you for your wonderful paper from 2012. It's been inspiring. There appears to be no detectable decline. This is what we are really seeing. I think one of your papers said 110,000 condensed hectares in 2008, and 2012 about 330 condensed hectares of dealbata. So we've got a big problem. We know this. We are located in this little area at the top of the Umzimvubu catchment on the watershed with Lesotho. We've got a network program of a whole bunch of organizations, including Water Affairs, Environment Affairs, Civil Society, which is looking at a bunch of sites. You can see them in yellow, mainly across the top of the catchment. And so these observations are based on what we're seeing there. And this is what we have seen over the last couple of years. That's more than 30,000 hectares of mainly silver and black wattle. We had a student that we supervised, this is 1952, the top left, in 2009. So that's post-working for water intervention. We're losing ground. This is what it looks like on the ground. This is in a protected area. It's frightening. This is what we're seeing after projects, working for water projects have pulled out, or there's been a hiatus in funding. We're seeing this ghastly shrubby stuff coming back again, which is twice as hard to clear. There's no single stem stuff there. It doesn't align with working for water norms. So what we're seeing is quite often there's poor supervision of the projects on the ground. We're getting suboptimal initial clearing, which is creating a problem for follow-up. Follow-up often costs more than initial. A lack of follow-up and maintenance, often due to a hiatus in funding. It's this project approach, and just looking at eradication is not looking at the big picture. And beneficiaries after a funded project are often reluctant to tackle the regrowth. Because there's no wages. Wages have almost come in as a perverse incentive sometimes. And it's a paradox species. I think it jumped. It's hugely useful as a poverty buffer, particularly in the former Transkei and Northeastern Cape area. It probably constitutes about 50% of some people's survival buffer. So this is how we have been looking at things. It's a funny blue cow picture that we're still working on, so apologies. We've got the three circles working in isolation. We've got government top left, which is looking at cutting trees and paying people. NGOs top right, which are looking at alternative strategies, ecotourism, blah, 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 whatever else. We're not actually focusing on the problem. And the community, which still has the problem on the ground, is the land users. So we had a little mind change, and cattle for me were always the enemy because they created overgrazing and they created erosion, and we had to kind of unpack our minds and take a different look. And we realized that cattle are a tool in a rural landscape, phenomenal tool. And Alan Savory, those of you who don't like the holistic concept, shoot him down, but the barefoot professor has got a lot to teach us. And we went to Zimbabwe and looked at some of the work they've been doing, and we were saying, yeah, but you don't have wattle and you don't know what's going on. You're a savanna, we're a grassland. And he said, just stand back and look at the big landscape. Stop focusing on eradication and look at management. So we did. And we, with the blessing and the fantastic land user incentives program, I wish Christo and Guy were here, because really, 3 cheers. It's a huge breakaway from the old working for water norms. We've got an eco-ranger concept which is looking at restoring grasslands. We're not looking at clearing riparian zones only. We're looking at bringing back sound ground cover in the upper catchment. Through using cattle, you can see the bottom left picture. I don't have a here's the point of it, I'll carry on talking. We've got these mobile kraals. Oh, goodness. I'll tell you about it if somebody asks questions. But we're getting grass back, basically, in a nutshell. We're getting more effective rainfall, and we think it's going to work because rural people create buffers around wattle patches anyway. So they convert and they maintain that land, whether it's homesteads. We also think it'll work because Christo came and had a look, and he loved what we were doing. So it's about collaboration and participatory planning and getting to a new blue cow picture where we're working together and we're seeing that livelihoods can benefit from a bigger holistic landscape management approach. Alien management within a wider landscape management context. So moving from paying wages for eradication through short-term projects to enabling restoration for productive landscapes through livelihood incentives. I'm sorry, 5 minutes is a short time to pack something that we're passionate about into, but we really welcome comment, and I hope that this has maybe thrown the cat amongst the pigeons and that it can stimulate some debate. So thank you very much.